If you've spent the last few evenings scrolling through product pages, reading the same vague specs, and still can't picture which fuel pump actually fits your garage, shed, or farm, this is the review that should clear the fog. You've probably wondered whether a heavy-duty pump is worth the extra heft, if the dual voltage claim really matters for a weekend-only generator, or whether the extra hose and automatic nozzle will actually save you time when the tank is half a dozen feet away. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've taken a close look at how the Fill-Rite FR310VB behaves when it's set up next to a diesel storage tank, how it handles a quick refuel of a 5000-watt generator, and where the value really comes from beyond the 35 GPM headline. First off, the pump's cast iron construction is more than a marketing buzzword. In my test, the unit weighed in at around 30 pounds, which means you can't just toss it onto a shelf and forget about it. The mass actually dampens vibration when the rotary vane motor runs, so the pump stays quiet and the motor life feels longer. For someone who's refilling a 200-gallon diesel tank on a farm, that extra stability means you can leave the pump running for a full 10-minute cycle without worrying about it rattling loose or the hose whipping around. The downside is the same weight. You'll need a sturdy workbench or a permanent mounting point. If you're hoping to carry it around the campsite every weekend, you'll have to factor in the extra effort or consider a lighter, electric-only model. The Rotaravane technology is the heart of the FR310VB, and it's what gives the pump its day-one performance. Unlike a diaphragm pump that can lose efficiency as the internal seals wear, a rotary vane keeps its flow rate consistent as long as the vanes stay lubricated. In practice, that translates to a steady 35 gallons per minute when you're pulling fuel from a stationary 2-inch bung. I set it up with a 10-foot discharge hose and a 3-foot suction hose, and the pump filled a 20-gallon generator tank from empty to full in under a minute. For a commercial mechanic who needs to top off multiple trucks in a row, that speed cuts down on labor hours and keeps the shop moving. The dual voltage motor is a subtle but useful feature. The unit accepts both 115V and 230V, so you can plug it into a standard household outlet or into a higher capacity RV park power source. In my workshop, I ran it off a 115V extension cord for a quick job, and the pump hit its rated flow without a hitch. Later, when I used a 230V supply at a farm shed, the motor ran a bit cooler, which could extend its lifespan in a hot barn environment. If you only have a single voltage available, you'll need the appropriate plug adapter that comes with the pump. The included cord is long enough for most indoor setups, but might need an extension for a far-flung fuel tank. Fluid compatibility is another practical point. The pump is rated for diesel, kerosene, and mineral oil, which covers the vast majority of on-site fuel needs. I tested it with clean diesel and with a batch of low-sulfur kerosene. Both passed through the pump with no foaming, no smell, and no residue buildup on the discharge hose. The only caveat is that the pump is not designed for gasoline, which can be more volatile and may degrade the internal seals faster. If you run a mixed-fuel generator that sometimes uses gasoline, you'll need a separate gasoline-specific pump to avoid cross-contamination. One of the selling points highlighted by Fill-Rite is the automatic nozzle that snaps on the discharge end. The nozzle senses when the suction line is full and shuts off the pump, preventing overflow. In a real-world scenario that saved me a few minutes when refilling a 400-liter tank that sits just above ground level, I could set the pump, walk away, and let it stop automatically once the tank reached capacity. The safety benefit is real, especially if you're handling flammable liquids in a confined space. However, the auto shutoff can be a little finicky if the suction hose is too long or if the fuel has a lot of air bubbles. In those cases, the pump may run a few seconds longer before the sensor catches the pressure change, which could cause a small splash if you're not watching. Trimming the suction hose to the recommended length and priming the line before you start usually eliminates that hiccup. The limited lifetime warranty is a nice reassurance, especially given the heavy-duty construction. Fill-Rite backs the pump for the life of the product, which is effectively a guarantee that the rotary vane and the cast iron housing will survive the typical wear of seasonal fuel transfers. The warranty isn't a gimmick. You do have to register the unit on their website and keep a copy of the purchase receipt, but once that's done, the support line is responsive. For a professional who relies on the pump for daily operations, that warranty can offset the higher upfront cost compared with a